We kick off today's episode of Chicago Bears Now with a Justin Fields injury update. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome in. Matt Eberflus had his Monday press conference earlier today and said Justin Fields is still in the limited category and that his injury status will be clearer on Wednesday. Still rehabbing, still working on gripping the football. Did throw for the first time last Friday. Sounds like he'll be doing some more throwing this week. And look, hopefully Justin Fields can play. And that's not because I'm not a fan of Tyson Bagent or anything like that. I think he's done some decent things. But you want to evaluate Justin Fields as much and as often as possible over these last 8 games because for a couple reasons. One, you want to see if he can wow you and prove he can be the franchise guy. He's done some decent things this year. And two, and maybe more relevant, if you are deciding to draft a quarterback, if you're Ryan Poles, you'd love to increase that trade value. I mean, if Justin Fields goes out there and plays really well the rest of the way, but you want to draft Drake May or Caleb Williams, then trading Justin Fields, you get more value out of that if he does play well. You look at the remaining schedule. If he could give it a go against Carolina and play well, then you got 10 days off before a divisional opponent in Detroit. That's a great opportunity to play well against a good team. At Minnesota, another primetime game there. That's a good opportunity. Detroit out of the bye at Cleveland. That's a good opportunity against a good defense. Then you can stack, hopefully, against some not-so-good teams, against Arizona, Atlanta, and Green Bay. I'm not even talking about wins and losses at this point because this team's obviously not making the playoffs, but Justin Fields, in terms of how he can play and put together some good outings, there's opportunities on the table against some good defenses to impress and to take advantage of some not good defenses and put some good tape out there, whether it's for the Chicago Bears or for another team that could potentially trade for him. I hope Fields gets back and plays well. And look, if he does his job, then it at least gives Ryan Poles something to think about this offseason. Make the call. What do you guys think will happen? Do you think Justin Fields plays on Thursday Night Football against the Panthers? Type P if you think he'll play. Type W if you think he won't. Flu's still calling him limited today. That makes me lean the other way, that it's probably going to be Bagent one more week. But we'll see how Tuesday and Wednesday go. And when Flus talks Wednesday, we should have a clearer answer. Some other injury notes from Matt Eberflus. Of course, Justin Fields day-to-day. Tremaine Edmonds also in the day-to-day category. We'll see if he gives it a go. Not too concerned there. I actually thought Jack Sanborn played well, so if Edmonds needs another week off, that's fine. Kari Blasingame has entered the concussion protocol. Safe to say he's not going to exit it by Thursday. Good news for Jaquan Brisker. He has cleared, so he will be back. And Tyreek Stevenson's also in that day-to-day category. He pulled his turned his ankle in yesterday's game. We kind of speculated did he get benched, but that wasn't the case. He turned his ankle, and they decided to not push it. Now, there is some injury notes for a couple of guys on IR here. The Bears have designated Josh Blackwell, Khalil Herbert, and Equanimeous St. Brown to return from injured reserve. So their practice windows have been open. Now, we'll see if any of these 3 guys get activated for Thursday's game, as they've all missed, obviously, at least 4 games here. Now, I think Khalil Herbert in particular is interesting to me. With the way Deontay Foreman's been running, even Darrington Evans, we haven't seen as much Roschon Johnson as I thought we would the last couple of weeks. If Herbert's activated, what's the pecking order? Does he start? Does Foreman keep the starting job with how he's played? I think it's definitely going to be a heavy rotation, but keep an eye on that as we move forward here with the running back position. Subscribe to the channel. We will be live for a Bears. I combined Bears and Panthers. Bears versus Panthers watch party on Thursday Night Football. Trying to get to 79,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So join us for that on Thursday. We will continue to keep you guys in the loop for the latest coverage on the Chicago Bears. Let's take a look at Montez Sweat a little bit, grade his debut, if you will, as he did make his first appearance for the Chicago Bears. Yesterday, he played, I think, 42 snaps. So that's a good amount for a guy who just came over midweek. Courtney Cronin had this note in her article at ESPN saying, after generating 6.5 sacks in his first 8 games with Washington, Sweat posted a season-high pass rush win rate at 25% in his first game with the Bears, which was tied for the second best by any edge rusher in Week 9. This is why you really have to let the data come in and let the film study stuff get broken down, because you look at the stat sheet and it's like, oh, he had 2 tackles. He was impactful. Now, Was he dominant? I won't go as far as dominant, but he was close a few times. He hit Derek Carr's throwing arm, which caused an incompletion. If he's there a split second earlier, that could be a strip sack. He drove the right tackle into Carr's lap more than once. I mean, and I think Carr actually did a good job of getting rid of the ball early to avoid Montez Sweat and his rushing ability. So I like what I saw from him. You would think over time, getting more acclimated with the defense will have even more of an impact. I think from a long-term standpoint and point of view, I think I look at this defensive line, whereas Montez Sweat is like the first notable building block. I like bringing back Andrew Billings on the extension, but that's not like a big-time game changer. That's like a low, mid-level starter, excellent rotation guy if you improve there. But if next season you have Billings playing next to an upgraded 3-tech where it's been Justin Jones, I don't know if Gervon Dexter is going to be that guy, but if not, maybe you go get somebody like Sweat, Billings, upgraded 3-tech, and we'll see number 2 edge rusher. Didn't see much from Ngakoue yesterday. I'm losing faith that he's going to do anything for this team. But I think Sweat's a good start. Billings is a nice role player, but you still got to add pieces on that defensive line this offseason. I don't think there's any doubt about that. So grade Montez Sweat's debut, A, B, C, D, or F. Considering he got traded midweek and generated some pressure, I'd give it a solid B+. We didn't see really like the game-changing play or anything like that, but again, you got to factor who he's playing next to as well, which is why the Bears have to invest more in that front four. But I'd give it a B+. Excited to see what he does the rest of this season. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Are you looking to go to a Bears game, a Bulls game, a concert in Chicago, or wherever you may live? Game Time is the best app to get tickets for the best price and in a timely manner, because sometimes buying tickets to a sporting event, comedy, or concert, whatever show, it can be stressful. With Game Time, it's not. It shouldn't be frustrating. It shouldn't be stressful. With certain apps, it is. Not with Game Time. Their goal is for you to have a good peace of mind with your purchase and to help you save as much money as possible. They also will show you your exact vantage points when you're surfing, trying to figure out what tickets to buy. So love that feature as well. And if you see a price for the same ticket area, like same row, same section, cheaper than the one you're seeing on Game Time, send a picture, send it to them. They will give you 110% credit. They want you to have the best price, best experience available. That is their goal for you. So download the Game Time app right now, create an account, use our code BearsChat when you sign up to get $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time in your app store. Last-minute tickets for the lowest price guaranteed. Promo code BearsChat gets you $20 off. All right, let's talk about the head coach, Matt Eberflus. What is his hot seat status at this point? Maybe he's not even on the hot seat. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in Ryan Poles' brain. I mean, he gave him a pretty strong endorsement last week, which we'll get to here in just a second. But let's just take a closer look at where Matt Eberflus is 26 games into his tenure as the Bears head coach. He's 5-21 overall. Very bad. 0-8 in divisional games. Remember what Ryan Poles said in his introductory press conference? We're going to take the North and never get it back. Well, not only have you not even had a chance in the division, you have yet to win a game in the division. Not a good look. He suffered a 14-game losing streak. He didn't win a game at home in over a calendar year. And oh, by the way, he has yet to win back-to-back games as head coach. Like, some of this stuff, it's like, okay, you're rebuilding. Like, I don't expect Flus to, be 26 games in, like 16-10 or something like that. But, like, some of this stuff is like, you almost have to try to do it. Like, you can't run into an NFC North win. You lose 14 in a row. You go over a year without winning a game at home. You have yet to win back-to-back games. Like, let's just be honest. Flus has been bad. I'm not saying it's all on him. The roster's not great. Ryan Poles has had some misses. Players have to execute. But come on, man. Like, this is ugly. This is ugly stuff. And I'll take it a step further. Look at the quarterbacks Matt Eberflus has beaten since he's taken this job. Trey Lance, week 1 of last year. Anybody know where Trey Lance is? I bet there are people in the chat that don't know where Trey Lance is right now. I'll tell you. He's the third-string quarterback in Dallas. Not the backup, the third string. Davis Mills, he is C.J. Stroud's backup. Mac Jones, he's going to be a backup next year, more likely than not. Sam Howell, promising young player, but I don't think any of us can say with 100% certainty he's a franchise guy. He's probably the only player on this list that's a starter next year, though. Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer should not be in the NFL. So the point being is, you have not beaten a proven quarterback yet. Sam Howell, again, done some nice things this year. I think he's Washington's starter next year, but I don't think they're bringing out the checkbook already to give him $50 million a year. You haven't beaten a single quarterback that evaluators across the league would be like, yeah, that's a franchise guy. You haven't even beaten a lot of starters. Again, Trey Lance, third stringer. Mac Jones, not going to be a starter next year. Brian Hoyer should be selling insurance. Like, this is not good. This is bad. At some point, you have to beat somebody worth a shit. And by the way, when they beat the Panthers to prolong the inevitable for Matt Eberflus, you'll add Bryce Young to that list, a rookie who has struggled heavily this year. Like, are you going to beat somebody worth a shit or not? Because you haven't up to this point. Should the Bears fire Matt Eberflus? Type F for fire or type K for keep? What say you? I mean, I think they should fire him. I think the guy can coach defense, but I think being a head coach in this league is just way too tall of a task for him, not only from just like the X's and O's, but the in-game stuff, handling the media. He's not head coach material. And we've seen it time and time again. So type F for fire, K for keep. Let me know what you guys think. Now, here's the question. Will Ryan Poles do it? Well, this is a quote from him last week, giving a pretty strong endorsement. What I see every day, where I see him address the team, and I see his approach through adversity, it is stable. I know in the outside world it doesn't look like that, and I know it looks like we're far away. But this dude just keeps coming in every day and just keeps chipping away. Does that sound like a guy who wants to fire Matt Eberflus? Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus came into this thing together. Poles chose him. Sure, the coaching search had been narrowed down for him, but he still chose Matt Eberflus. Will Kevin Warren have to step in? Because if I'm Kevin Warren, and unless we see a drastic, and I do mean drastic finish to the season, like this team wins 6 of 8 or something like that, I am telling Ryan Poles, I don't want to keep Matt Eberflus. If Ryan Poles pushes back and says, I think he's the guy for the future, if I'm Kevin Warren, I have to reevaluate Ryan Poles at that point. Like, I just do not think you can run it back with this coaching staff. But it doesn't sound like Ryan Poles, at least from what we hear publicly, is that interested in getting rid of him. And look, I'll be honest too, Carolina coming to your place, Thursday Night Football, excuse me, you lose that, man. Mini bye week coming up. I know we said this last time before a mini bye. If you lose to Washington, they could fire him. They won, and he has survived. I mean, I think it's back on the table, man. I think you really have to consider making a change before the next game, just if nothing else to send a message. Not because you're trying to create a spark to survive this season. At 2-8, you're cooked, obviously. But I just, at some point, like, Matt Eberflus has to prove something. And what has he proven up to this point as a head coach? Yes, the defense is mildly improved. But again, look at the quarterbacks he's beaten. No one worth anything. So I feel like making a change makes sense. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they do it. Hit the subscribe button here on the channel. Bears news, rumors, more coverage as well. We got you here on Chicago Bears Now. And if Matt Eberflus gets fired, I promise you we'll be going live.